District number 1, we have Mr. Dean Walter, Mr. Felix Lopez. For district number 3, we have Mr. Dan Rossetti, and we have Mr. Tony Hess. They will be providing their opening statements, fielding questions, and providing closing statements as well as have the past candidates that were here this evening. I will remind, we have collected questions from the audience, and I will remind you that those questions, we have screened them, but not every question that has been posed will be posed to the candidates to see. In some cases, the appropriateness of them may not be what we feel they should be. So again, if that question does not get brought up here this evening, and you feel strongly about the question you have for all candidates or any candidate in particular, they will provide you with their contact information at the end of their presentations or during their presentations, and you may call them and ask directly the questions that you may not have gotten answered this evening. I will first begin this evening the statements by Los Angeles County Commissioner candidate Mr. Dean Walter.
Thank you for all being here tonight. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event. My name is Dean Walter, and I'm your current Los Angeles County Commissioner, District 1. I'm going to let you know a little bit about me, because some of you don't know me, and those that do probably really don't. My life began, I was born at the old hospital here in Trinidad. I'm the grandchild of Italian and Greek immigrants, and the son of Henry and Annette Moulter. I was raised up the river in a segundo bar, where I got to listen to the coal miners, railroaders, and area ranchers tell stories. Some would bring their guitar in, and I would join them in singing country, western, and Mexican songs. I also loved to hear the hollering and see the hand throwing when they played mora. My parents operated the bar, as well as had a coal distribution business. They also operated a small backhoe and dozer service. My parents did whatever they had to do to keep us fed, clothed, and make ends meet. Our home was attached to the bar, where it was a typical house back then. My mom would have big dinner every Sunday for family and anyone needing a hot meal. My bedroom was a 2x4 wall insulated with newspapers, and usually 2 or 3 of us kids crammed in it. We had a coal furnace, and when it was cold, I used to pray for it to turn on. I would get up in the wee hours of the night and sit in front of the register to warm up. Growing up upriver was a great experience. My children ask, "What was it like when you were a kid, Dad?" I tell them, combine the movies, A Christmas Story, Jeremiah Johnson, The Sandlot, and The Cowboys, and that'll give you just a glimpse of what it was like. There's one big difference. My parents were also teaching me work ethic. I never knew a harder working man than my father or a harder working woman than my mother. I remember when the lottery came out, my father told me, "There's still only one way to make money. You work for it." I still live by that and instill that in my children today. Although you could catch me buying a lottery ticket from time to time, you never know, my dad could be wrong just once. I attended Weston Elementary, Primero, and Primero Junior Senior High School, where I was a student athlete, as well as a band member and a choir member. Also was in numerous other school clubs. When I wasn't working for my dad, I was working as a ranch hand in Stonewall, Colorado for the Crawford Ranches. After attending Adams State, Trinidad State Junior College, I worked as a temp for the Colorado Division of Wildlife. Then in 1993, I went to work with my brothers, Purgatory Valley Construction. In the beginning, it was just us 4. As any business experiences, we had good and bad times. Eventually, our business grew until 2008, when the economy spiraled down. We had to sell most of our assets and even had several meetings with bankruptcy attorneys. Thankfully, we never had to file for bankruptcy, but I thought we were going to lose everything we worked so hard for. by the grace of God, hard work, teamwork, and don't give up attitude, we are slowly pulling out of the hole. During all those years of ups and downs, one of the best things that happened to me was meeting the love of my life, my wife, Shelley. We have 4 children, Henry, Vincent, Antonio, and Mateo. We also have 1 granddaughter, Julianne Kay. Also, during those years, my brother and I introduced the EPIC program to Trinidad State Junior College. This program created more skilled workers and boosted enrollment. At the time, the number of skilled vocational workers was a low, and the college was in financial distress. This helped Trinidad State Junior College have the largest graduating class in 30 years. Proudly it gained national recognition, and former Governor Ritter mentioned it in his State of the State address. In June of last year, I had the opportunity to apply to the governor's office to serve our great county in the capacity of commissioner. After applying, interviewing with the governor's cabinet, I was successful in getting the job. You now know a little bit about who I am and where I came from. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean Moulter. Next we have up this evening is Mr. Felix Lopez, the candidate for Los Angeles County Commissioner, District Number 1.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. What an honor and a pleasure to have all of you here. I moved to Los Angeles County in 1980 as an immigrant. I found this great community and I found this great institution. My small steps as a student when I came to Trinidad State began not knowing how to speak the language. But I believe that in 1950, when my father began to migrate to the United States on the Abracero program, that he would open the door and someday would be a reality for all of us, for my siblings. Seeking the opportunity to run for county commissioner is not about me, it's about all of us. I have forged my resume with experiences, suffering along the way, but more than anything else, with the guiding light of my Creator. Tonight I want to thank Los Angeles County Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, Trinidad State Junior College. I want to thank a couple of family members that we have in the audience. My daughter, her husband, Rosalie, Mike, my grandchildren. My sister is here tonight, my brother-in-law, a lot of extended family. But one of the most important and special people that I want to thank tonight is my wife. We met at this institution. We got together, and 35 years ago, the journey began. So tonight I'm here to tell you that I would appreciate your support for this particular position. Running a campaign is not easy, but the issues that we have at hand in Trinidad are many. I have served in this institution as the Chief Financial Officer, a position that I held for many years. I actually instructed from the classroom, if you will, on the accounting perspective. And then I went on to be the president of this institution. So throughout my career, in the 35 years that I've been, actually 38 years here in Los Angeles County in Trinidad, I have seen the good and bad of Trinidad. And I believe that there is a great opportunity for all of us tonight to work together and leverage the assets that we have to entice and invite industry to come back to Trinidad. I understand budgets. In fact, I had an opportunity to meet with the finance director of Los Angeles County. And I have dissected the numbers. We've gone through that. I actually studied 2017 and 2018. Come back a few more, but I can see the opportunities that lie at hand. As the CFO at Trinidad State back in the early 2000s, one of the challenges that we had is that we were hit with 911, 9/11. And I recall the president and I going behind closed doors. We talked about, what are we going to do now? We had to put a plan together to save jobs and to prevent as little layoffs as possible. And I can tell you, no one faculty member of those days was impacted, because to us, our students were sacred and the faculty members were the ones that were making the difference. So the qualities of a leader are many, and I bring those to the table. The experiences that we have are some, but the opportunities that are standing in front of us are many. I believe that a county commissioner is more than simply, let me go in and do a meeting or two. I'm accountable to you all. We're accountable to you. I want to work for you all. As you begin to get, in just a few short days, those mailing ballots, I want you to consider this. I have not had the opportunity to experience the disadvantages that a lot of people have. I came to this country the legal way. So I was blessed, though I didn't speak the language. My father and my mother had the vision that by applying, by going through the legal process, we had to wait so many years on the sidelines, but here we are. And what a great nation we have. Together we can continue to forge opportunities. What a great nation we have, that if we believe and we're able to disagree agreeably, I think we can conquer and do so many good things. When I came to this country, like many, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But when I attained a couple of advanced degrees, that gave me an opportunity to serve. So tonight, I'm asking for your vote. And a little bit of the story, as Commissioner Molter said, we'll hear the closing statement. So thank you so much.
Next, we have a candidate for District number 3, first Mr. Dan Rossetti.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I don't write nothing down, I just wing it. So, here we go. My name's Dan Rossetti. I was born and raised in Trinidad. Actually, I lived in Socris, Colorado until the dam was built. Been here 58 years, and a lot of people said they seen the highs and lows of Trinidad when everything was great and when it went down. I also didn't see it, I lived it. I worked in a coal mine, and when it shut down, had to go look for more work, and the worst part was it was about 6 months before my wedding. So I got married with not employed to my wife. Second of all, I worked in the gas field, and I worked it when exploratory drilling was going on 35 years ago. Nothing was going on. Again, it was 70, 80 hours a week. It kind of shut down before the boom went. So again, there I am, unemployed. Lucky enough, I got hired on to the city of Trinidad, where I've been for the last 24 and a half years. I was in charge of the streets for 20 years of that, and then they turned me over and gave me the parks along with the streets. So for the last 24 and a half years, I've been working for the city of Trinidad, working real close with Mr. Dornkamp with the county. So a little bit about myself, married 32 years to my wife, Kimberly. I do have a daughter, 27, and a son, 22. I really hate to say this, but neither one live in Trinidad. And that's something that really hurts me, is our children are leaving town because there's no jobs here. And I feel that if elected, I'll do my best in anything I can to get businesses to keep our young here. And that's what our future is. It's just, it's heartbreaking to see our kids go away, and what are we gonna have left if we don't have kids here? Everybody says if you bring business to Trinidad, we don't have nobody that can pass the drug test. Well, tell you what, if you bring business, why don't you bring people with you? That'll just help out everything, help out economics, the school district, the city, the county, whatever. And that's my goal. And if elected as commissioner, I don't look at it, I'm the commissioner, I'm the voice of the people. It's you that we represent, and it's your choice. So that's one thing. I don't do favors for anybody. I look at the right thing and try to do what's right for the community. And I just want to do my best, and if I get in, you could ask anybody, once I start something, I don't quit. Thank you.
Next up, we have this evening for the opening comments, Mr. Tony Hess.
Like my counterpart, I'm going to win it. I want to say how proud I am to be sitting up here on this panel with these gentlemen. I know them all, I've worked with all of them, and they're very excellent people. I'd like to thank the Chamber for allowing me to participate and putting this event on. And I'll just start by telling you a little bit about me. In 1984, my wife and I moved to this county and went to work for Don Berg's ranch on top of the pass. I worked very hard for that man and raised my daughter up there and my son. And I tried to raise my son and my daughter with the same principles that I was raised with. God first, family second. And I'd just like to say that and recognize my son. He came in from Kansas City today. I didn't know whether or not I'd be able to participate in this event tonight. And I felt really bad about having to intrude on his special day. He got married today. God first, family second. He's here to support me as I was there to support him earlier today. He actually forgone a reception so that he could be here to support me in this endeavor. So my civic duties began in about 1985, and I was elected to the Horse Council, and soon was chairing that committee. Then from there, I went to the Los Animas County Fair Board, where I chaired the Los Animas County Fair Board for 2 terms. And about the time that that term ended, the Pinion Canyon expansion reared its ugly head. And my wife and I had bought a ranch just 4 miles from the cantonment. When I found out about that dismal day, I went home and told my wife, you know what, we didn't inherit this ranch. We worked hard to put this ranch together. What are we going to do? So, the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, it was kind of a coincidence, wanted me to come work for them as the Southeastern District Rep for the state. And I did. This allowed me a platform to get acquainted with many of our legislators and our governor at the time. And I testified and helped develop two bills with South Pace and West McKinley. And that was a trying time for my family. And I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody again. But that was my introduction to the political arena. And from there, after the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, and it developed a policy that, in their policy book that said absolutely no expansion of Pinion Canyon. The Colorado Farm Bureau saw me testify in DC and said, we'd like to have you come work for us. So for 7 years, I was on their staff, and I represented 14 counties in the southeastern and south central Colorado. And I helped them to develop policy and implement that policy. And I became a real private property rights activist. Because of my involvement at the state capitol, the governor took notice and appointed me, Governor Hickenlooper took notice, and appointed me to the Utilities Consumers Board, where I represent South Central Colorado. and the citizens there. While all of this was going on at the state level, I was working here diligently, still doing my civic duty in the county and the city. I was asked to participate in the Trinidad Community Foundation, where I've been on the board now for 4 years. The Mount Carmel board asked me to come on, and I've been there for 4 years. And by the way, I'm vice chair of the Utilities Commission board. The reason I bring all of these activities up is I want you to know how passionate I am about this community and its citizens. And I work very hard as a citizen to promote this county. With the title of commissioner, it would open up so many more doors for grants and everything else that comes along with that I think I could do an excellent job for you as county commissioner. Thank you.
Jim, thank you all for your remarks and your presentations. We will now open it up for questions from the panel. And ask them, if we have questions, if you have questions from that you originated, we would go there first prior to taking on anything from the audience, if you have any. If not, I think you might have some prepared questions that you brought this evening. We'll listen to yours first, and then resort to those from the audience. So whoever would like to be first. Mr. Eli Bo.
KCRT Eli Bo for any of the 4 people on the panel board. If new resources were available, what one area of the county's services would you feel most needs additional resources?
Great, let's begin, and we'll begin with Mr. We'll go around from left to right. Mr.
Additional.
Yes. And we can repeat it as we did each one of you. Go, Mr. Rossetti.
As everyone knows, the county's been in need of money for the last few years, so I look at it, all aspects of the county needs help right at this time. We have people working in the county. I was pretty amazed to see what this wages some of these people make, how they make a living. And you got to take care of your employees first. If you have happy employees, you're going to have happy workers doing a better job. County roads, they're doing a great job on the county roads right now. But I think a lot of it's our courthouse. There's some needs to be done. Things need to be done there. And I think that's where the first aspect has to be looked at. Let's get our people inside the county, everybody efficient at the courthouse, and I think the whole system will work out better.
Additional resources. I had a meeting with the Sheriff's Office, and they shared with me the demand that we have right now. There are so many illegal grows that are going on in the county. There's so much crime that is happening throughout the county that if we had additional resources, certainly I commend the sheriff for what they're doing, the entire team. They're doing amazing. But I think that would be one of the things. If we don't have safety in the county, certainly it's one of those things, again, that the sheriff has to do his job. But I think, we're losing a lot of deputies that are going on. So one of the sentiments that they gave to me that day, we're losing so many deputies, even to the police department here in Trinidad, because we cannot pay them sufficient wages to keep them on. Once an employee is trained, once an employee is vested within a department, that is something that it's valuable to that entity. And of course, I'm speaking for the sheriff's office, but again, that applies for the county personnel at large.
Mr. Walter, would you like to address it?
Sure. So every department in our county right now needs additional resources. Road and bridge, every office in the courthouse. But there's 2 that really need additional resources, and that's our Sheriff's Department and our Department of Human Services. The other ones are surviving. Everybody's surviving and getting by, but we do not have enough patrol officers out there, and we do not have enough caseworkers at the Department of Human Services. That stems from, we're still in a financial crisis, if you will. We're coming out of the hole slowly, but it's not going to happen in one year, not even going to happen in 2 years. But as money comes in, we need to start giving more resources to our Sheriff's Department and Department of Human Services.
I think the big question is what money's coming in. And I think we got to do something to attract more money so that we can take care of the DHS and our Sheriff's Department and the other departments that the county looks for. We have opportunities that are looming out there that I hope that we'll take advantage of. And one of them is maybe the tourism aspect. We have an opportunity that many of us have read about and know about. I hope that comes to fruition. That way we'll have some money to spread around. I think that's the big question, is we got to do something to entice some of those small businesses and industries here, and tourism being the main one that I think that we could capitalize on, so that we're not dealing with the boom and bust industry like we have with our oil and gas industry and the coal industry before that. Thank you.
Mr. Knowles.
This for Mr. Lopez. If you win the election, what will your ties with Mount Carmel and Mr. Chimino continue to be?
Thank you. Well, one of the reasons that I'm running for this election is to serve the citizens of Los Angeles County. Obviously, that is going to be the prime priority in my life.
To follow up with that, if this goes to all of you, if elected, will you devote yourself 100% to the job? In other words, if you're on any boards or committees that would be considered a conflict, will you go in and resign and remove yourself from those boards?
Since I had the last question, let me go ahead and take that. I think the only moment that I would really consider getting to be part of is those that are going to benefit Los Angeles County. Certainly, I have had sufficient experience working with some of my fellow friends in the Senate, in the House in Denver, when I was president here at the college, and then later on I followed my career as vice president of Pikes Peak Community College. So certainly, those have to be considered and selected, and working as a team of three to bring that goodness back to Los Angeles County.
Mr. Rossetti, would you like to address it?
That's one question I really don't have to worry about because I'm not on any boards. So, but the question will probably come up: am I going to stay with the city of Trinidad? I'm sure that's in there somewhere. And like I said before, when I ran, county commissioner is not a part-time job; it's a full-time job. So I just want everybody to know that I won't be working for the city of Trinidad if elected, but I will be working with the city of Trinidad if elected.
Mr. Moulton.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. If elected, will you be devoting yourself to your new position 100%? And in other words, if you're on any committees or boards that would be considered a conflict, will you be resigning from those boards?
Yes, and the only committees or boards that I belong to are the ones that I currently serve under in my capacity as commissioner.
Mr. Hess.
I relish the idea of getting rid of some of these boards that yes, I'll get off those boards, and we're actually talking about dispersing some capital too. So I plan to spend most of my time right here at the Commissioners.
Next question, please.
Eli Moore, KCRT. This is for everyone up there. What one part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected?
We'll start in order to the left to right again. Mr. Rossetti.
question, but I don't think how you could center out one thing, like we said, the sheriff's department, DHS. But you gotta look at it as a whole, treat everybody equally. If you start putting people out and putting them in different sections, all you're gonna do is get the other one upset. So you gotta look at it as a whole and treat everybody equally is the way I look at it.
I think, again, it's beginning by when we're drafting the budget. I think that begins a lot of opportunity to see where the appropriations go. But I would reiterate what Mr. Rossetti said. It's the county operates as a unit. It should not be operating in silos. Because at the end of the day, we're serving the citizens of Los Animas County and not necessarily just one certain department.
Mr. Walter? Would you like to address that or not? That's a question.
Yeah, same with me. The departments that need more people is our sheriff's department and our Department of Human Services. They all are understaffed right now. Every single office is understaffed. But right now, if we had additional funding, we could bring other people, 1 or 2 people on for each office, but we need more people out on the streets. We need people arrested. We need bad guys caught and prosecuted and put away. And that's where we need right now.
Again, like I answered that last time, I believe it's got to do with money. And the only way we're going to be able to build these departments is to attract more money. Somehow we have to entice some businesses back into the community. And like I said, I believe that tourism, biking, hiking, that sort of thing, we have a lot to offer. And that's all I got to say.
Next question, please.
Yeah, this deals with tourism. County Road 855 or San Francisco Pass is one of the most beautiful backcountry roads in Los Animas County. How do you plan on keeping this asset open to the public? And this is for all candidates.
We'll start from the opposite end this time, Mr. House.
Right. So currently, it's only closed for, I believe it's 3 months. And, you know, I've been up and down that trail horseback. We've moved cattle to the top. I've been on it in a 4-wheel drive pickup. I've been on it on a 4-wheeler. And I don't have a problem with it staying open the 9 months. But I've done search and rescue. And I can tell you that in that canyon, Frisco Canyon, when we get a blizzard in the middle of the winter, we've had to haul them out of there on 4-wheelers, and some of them we had to take out horseback. And I don't think we want to go there. And that was just for the hunters that were up there in that area. So I think, in my opinion, it should remain that way. It can be open for the 9 months. I don't have a problem with that at all. But the 3 months during the winter months, when it's a safety hazard.
Mr. Mulder.
Currently, 855 is open for 5 months. And we heard this some time ago. We had 3 meetings, and we came up with the people that that attended the meeting for a temporary happy median, if you will. We kept it open from Memorial Weekend through Labor Day. And so we will be having a hearing on, it will be on the agenda on the 16th, which is our next regular scheduled meeting. So if anybody would like to attend and voice their opinions or concerns, you can do that.
Mr. Lopez, would you like to address that?
I'm not familiar with the road, although I've heard comments on it. I think, I'm going to go back to the same thing. If the county is already maximizing and strapped for services in search and rescue, I think we also have to use a lot of common sense when we come together. And I really support outdoor activities and outdoor spaces. because those are attractive to our communities. But I think there's a point in time that we also have to be sensible that we are not going to be sending rescue teams in a place that really they shouldn't be.
Mr. Rossetti.
I know a little bit about that road. I outfitted down in that area for about 30 years or so. And the way I look at it, it is a county road. It should maintain to be open. If you look in the whole county area, there's 5 or 6 roads that go right in between the person's house and their barn. And that's one of the debates on this road. Also, the road hasn't been maintained in years. They do get money for it. Start doing some maintenance on it. And again, the risk factor is snow. They do the same thing with the Cordova Pass. Once it gets bad, you shut it down. And then you don't have to worry about that.
I have a question sort of in the same vein. With outdoor recreation becoming a huge focal point for our community, what priority do you place on its economic benefits in Los Angeles County for all of you?
Okay, we'll start with you, Mr. Rossetti. Get back down.
Recreation and tourism, it's a big deal. You can make a lot of money. The way I look at it, it's money that's here and it leaves. And I don't like that aspect. It does do great when you do have the tourism, but I still think we need permanent businesses and permanent people living here.
Mr. Lopez.
The outdoor recreation and tourism obviously are part of the industry that supports Los Angeles County. There's over 3.5 million cars that go up and down the interstate on any given year, and there's about 10,000 trucks that are going through. I think we need to put a plan together and work together, not only from the perspective of the county, but work with the leaders of the city, and come up with a plan that we make this a destination point. And as people are staying from 1 day to 2 days and extending the visit, obviously they're leaving some dollars, and that's going to benefit and create employment. The one thing that I believe that we have a plan. We have to create one central point of marketing, because many years ago we hosted here at Trinidad State a community needs assessment, and on that particular day we discovered that there were 16 different ways to market Trinidad. And from that perspective, I think if we work together and narrow it down and market Trinidad as one, certainly that would bring back so many more benefits.
Mr. Moulter.
So, of course, tourism has always been important here, and we need to continue to capitalize on that. Currently, in about 2 weeks, I sit on a selection committee, which is a PEL study. And what that is we are, basically it's a feasibility and environmental study combined into one. And it will, we have 4 companies, and we're going to choose one of those. And what it is it's a bike path up Highway 12. And it will go up Highway 12 through Stonewall, Cachera, La Veta, Walsenburg, and back down to Trinidad. So right now we're looking at that. If it comes to fruition, it'll be about a $400 million project. I'm a big proponent in bikes and bike trails. I think it's a huge industry, and I think we need to continue to go down that avenue.
Mr. Hess.
I think I've demonstrated in some of my other comments how important I believe tourism would be to this community.
Next question.
Still staying with tourism here. The city has been attempting to purchase Crazy French Ranch, and they approached the county for a letter of support to help them procure funding for that. The county shot it down, and part of the reason given was the establishment of conservation easement on French Ranch. How is this going to play out? How's the county looking at this right now?
Okay, so it wasn't completely just shut down, okay? So what it was the county would survive without that taxation income. what we were worried about are our special districts, school districts, fire districts not being fully or made whole. When you pay taxes on property, that money doesn't just go to the county. The county is the distributor of that money. We receive that money and then we distribute it equally depending on what mills in each district there is. So what we did is we came up with a list of questions to the city, and they still have not answered those questions yet. Am I in favor of it? I think it would be a great idea. It's our backdrop of the city. It's on our bottles at the courthouse. It's a wonderful idea. It capitalizes on that. I have also one of the big, besides being made whole, was the wildlife issues. I know there's a huge population of mountain lions up there, and one of my big. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Haas, would you like to address it? That's it.
I'll take off where he left off. I know where his concern is safety, and I agree with him. There is going to have to be a curfew going in and out. I would love to sit at that table. As I was stated earlier, I managed that ranch for 8 years, did search and rescue up there. There's a lot of concerns that I have. Burning of any kind up there would be horrible if it got out of control. And I think that the fire district is already maxed. I believe our sheriff's department, as far as search and rescue goes, they're at their max. And it goes back to funding again. I think it'd be a great opportunity. I'd like to see personally, I'd like to see a Manitou incline right there at Fisher Peak. And I think like Mr. Lopez was talking about, it would be one of the top 10 destination points in Colorado, I believe.
Mr. Lopez, would you like to address that?
I think procuring property is the first step. The work that goes behind to draft an agreement of whose responsibility is going to be and who's going to be paying for what. You know, we had a meeting with the chiefs, the fire chiefs of Los Animas County. When we met with them, one of the comments that came back to us, if that happens, then who? Well, the jurisdiction is going to be under somebody. And I think if that agreement is going to take place to attract dollars to the community, there has to be a mutual understanding that the dollars don't go one way or the other. That's got to be working in tandem with city and county to basically create this for the benefit of Los Animas County.
Mr. Rossetti.
Probably going to get myself in a little trouble over this one being a city employee. But I'm not sure how much the city's actually spending on it or where the money's coming. My opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, I think money could be spent elsewhere for something better. And I hate to see Fisher's Peak, like incline is a great idea, but that's one of our historical markers. And when you come into Trinidad, you're going to want to see a set of steps going all the way to the top of Fisher's Peak. I mean, I like the way it looks right now, and it's one of our historical markers, so I'm kind of against the idea.
Do we have another question in that big stack of papers over there?
This is for everyone again. What is your position on the growing of marijuana and hemp in our county? Right now, it's only within city limits. Do you guys feel that we can expand it to the county to get more revenue from that?
Mr. Rossetti, you'll be first.
Well, I believe the county missed the boat on this one. This was brought up 4 years ago. People of the county did vote for it. It was not allowed into the county. The deal is, again, back to get myself in trouble. City has 26 to 30 marijuana shops in it right now, and I believe that's enough. Hemp now is another story. We got to look into into it. That's the future, and that is something, there's no cannabis in it, no THC, and it's so versatile that you can make so much stuff out of it. And that's something we better look into.
Mr. Lopez.
It was a couple of years ago that I had an opportunity to go to the Senate in Washington, D.C., and we heard from the Surgeon General and from the Drug Enforcement Task. And there's not enough research, although Trinidad and the state of Colorado legalized marijuana. I think we have plenty of those establishments, so I don't think the county would should entertain that idea. I met a good friend of mine, a doctor in Colorado Springs, that I'm in contact with. He has done research at the national level, and I think we need to start planning for the future of the consequences of what we see in our streets, in our city. So for me, no marijuana in the county.
Mr. Moulton.
So right now, we haven't entertained the marijuana industry. Our current attorney is also licensed in Texas. If she wrote rules and regulations that she would risk losing her license in Texas. Do we need more retail marijuana stores? No. There's plenty in Trinidad, Colorado. Should we entertain marijuana growers in the county? Possibly on a medical type basis. But I think there's a bigger fish to fry out there, and that's hemp. I think hemp is going to dwarf the marijuana industry in the state of Colorado. Just from the CBD extraction from the plant, I know they can get CBD from the marijuana, but the hemp can be used for CBD and for fiber. So should we entertain it? Possibly. But that we'll see what will happen next year.
Mr. Hess.
In regards to hemp in the community, I attended the Governor's Ag Forum, and one of the breakout sessions that I attended was the hemp industry. Just some statistics real quick. $21,000 worth of seed comes off of 1 acre. An additional $12,500 comes off of just the stalks. Can be used for almost, I think they said 8,500 different products. Textiles, rubber, we all think of rope. It would be a lucrative industry for Los Animas County. In the answer to the question of marijuana in the county, I've attended 5 different meet and greets across the corners of this county. Kim, Branson, Gulnair, up near Valdez, and 90%, 95% of those individuals said absolutely not in the county. This isn't a question about what I want to happen, but the citizens have spoke as far as I'm concerned. They said no marijuana in the county.
Another question we'd like to pose. Mr. DeBoer.
One from the audience. What is your stance on Pinion Canyon, and how do we stand, and do you think you can stand strong against the federal government?
We'll start right here, sir. Mr. Tony Hess.
That's a topic I'm really familiar with. I wish it would die and go away. My position hasn't changed. I've been heavily involved for many years, and my position hasn't changed. What I will guarantee you is that every time they come down to talk about this expansion, I'm going to be at the table. I was taught when I was very young that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and I believe that.
Mr. Volker.
My stance on Pena Canyon hasn't changed. As far as expansion, I don't believe there's going to be an expansion. But with that being said, I don't think we should stop the Army from spending money on the current base, the property that they have. So that's my opinion.
Mr. Lopez.
Standing up against the Army, I think it's, you are going to be sending us to do that on your behalf. But it's forging relationships with the federal delegation, both senators, the House of Representatives, the congressman, so they can understand where Las Animas County stand. I have had this conversation opportunity with both senators, Bennett and Gardner, and one of the messages that we sent to them is contact us before you do anything, because Las Animas County is, we're in a sense all family, all related, and standing up to the Army is the voice of the many, not the voice of one.
Mr. Rossetti.
Again, if you remember in my opening statement, when I said I was living in Silvers, Colorado, that's where the dam is. We all lived there. They said, we're going to build a dam here. You people have to move. I said, you can't make us move. There's no way. Well, we were one of the last families to move, and they said, either you move or we're going to move you. When it comes to the federal government, when time comes, if they decide they're going to do it, they're going to do it. You look at Arizona, people were killed over that, and the government still got their way. And I just look at it, if it does come in and Pino Canyon is there, that the county and the city better take care of them, because it's the same distance to Lahaina. And if they don't come here, they're just going to go east and go to Lahaina. So that's my opinion.
Okay, we're going to take two more questions as we start the evening progressing. And we'll take two more questions, and then we're going to go to closing statement. Mr. Knowles.
This is another one from the audience. It's for all the candidates. If elected, how would you help law enforcement fight crime?
Mr. Rossetti, we'll begin with you.
That's a tough one. I guess it'd be up to us, who's ever in office, to make sure the sheriff's department has enough officers, enough manpower, enough equipment to do this, to do the job, and to work better with other agencies as a group, and whoever else they need to bring in to take care of the crime and problems in Las Animas County.
Mr. Lopez.
Well, I tell you, I graduated from the State Patrol Academy many years ago, and I won't be enlisting with the Sheriff's Office, so certainly it would be writing grants, finding other resources. But I think, you know, when I met with them, they were so sincere with me, and they had actually this camaraderie and brotherhood that they had. They need more training. They need more tactical equipment. They need better vehicles. They have so many things. So the law enforcement, in many cases, there was a presentation about a month or so ago here at the Pioneer Room of Trinidad State, and one of the statements that came out of there was, we don't respond to some of the calls in the county because we're outgunned and we're outmanned. So those are statements that we need to be taken to heart. And so I had a visit with the person that did the presentation, and you were there. And so certainly those things is what we need to do. And I think by connecting with other agencies, we can provide better training for our staff here in Trinidad.
Mr. Moulton.
Well, it boils down to funding. You know, money buys guns, money buys vests, money buys safety equipment, cameras, and manpower. So if there's funding available, then we need to channel it to the law enforcement and work with the head of the law enforcement, sheriff, and see where he's needing it. What is he needing? Is he needing more firearms? Of course, I know right now he needs more personnel, but it all comes down to funding.
Mr. Hess.
after visiting with the Sheriff's Department too, thank you for the invitation, Mr. Navarrete. I come away with the same consensus that they're outmanned, they're outgunned, and the illegal grows that are happening out there in the county. We talk about marijuana in the county, ladies and gentlemen, it's already in the county. And they meet you at the gates with their dogs and their ARs, and it concerns me as it does Mr. Navarrete to send these guys out, especially when they're undermanned. I think they have 6 sheriffs now in the department. And you can't send 2 guys out there and then have a call in Kim, Colorado, and not be able to go meet that need. So funding is got to happen. There's got to be a way to pull in some funding for these brave men, and so that we can have more of them. The other thing I would suggest is, and I'd have to talk to Mr. Navarrete, but how about if the need arises, that we ask the DEA to come help us?
We will go one more question. One more question to be posed. Very well. Thank you, gentlemen, for your response to all the questions. I'll remind the audience, both present tonight, those that are listening on the radio, and those that will be watching this on a recorded broadcast by Trinidad Times TV, that if there are questions out there that you have that probably could not have been answered this evening, and you still have interest in any of the topics or want to ask any questions of any of the candidates that were here this evening, because they're candidates, I'm sure they're open to being contacted at reasonable times. I shouldn't say at all times, but at reasonable times. So the candidates are still here within the audience. If you need to talk to them further, you might want to ask for their contact information and ask them other questions as you prepare to go to the polls this year. We're now going to enter that point of the evening where we're going to have the closing statements by the candidates. I will remind the candidates that you have up to 5 minutes to provide your closing statements, and after that we will finish it out. So I think we will start. Let's go in the reverse order where we started. We'll go Mr. Haas.
Again, thank you to the Chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, the wheels of progress are rolling down the Front Range and down I-25, and they're right here at our back door. How many of you out there remember when Sheplers was the end of Denver? And when Pueblo West was nothing more than a prairie with prairie dogs. Right here in our own community, how many of you remember Henry's Barber Shop, Marty's Pharmacy, Rocco's Meat Market, Ringo's, Bonfanini's? The wheels of progress are here already, and we need to address this. And we can capitalize right now. We can mold and shape this community, as many of our visionaries are already trying to do. Dana Crawford, Jay Chimino, our creative arts district, they're visionaries, and they're trying to create Trinidad into what they want it to be, not what the wheels of progress is going to dictate it that it be. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want somebody that's going to represent you with a vision for the future, I ask you to vote for Tony Haas for County Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. And I just want to say, I don't know if I'm old enough to remember all those businesses that you made. I just don't recall those businesses. Age, I'm old. Next up, we have Mr. Dean Moulter.
When I was appointed by the Honorable Governor John Mount Hickenlooper, the financial situation of this county was grim. The day I got sworn in, a few individuals said to me, "Why are you here? You came here in one of the worst financial times in the county history." I told them, "Well, let's see what I can do to help the situation. When I enter this courthouse, I will be a positive ray of sunshine, and we must stay positive." After coming out of one of the worst financial crises personally, I figured I could help the county. Being with an organization for 25 plus years, I know what commitment is, whether times are good or bad. I have never been known to be a man who quits when times get bad and move to greener pastures. When I accepted the appointment, I knew I was committed to serving the people of our county for the long haul. I want to serve our citizens as long as I statutorily can. Our county is not a stepping stone. The 1.5-cent sales tax has given us some breathing room, but we are not out of the water yet. We as elected officials and department heads must be patient. It took us years to get where the county was, and it will take us years to get out, but we will prevail. We must ask ourselves, why does one run for an office? What agenda does one have? Well, I do have an agenda. My agenda is the citizens of Los Animas County, to do what is right for our citizens, whether it is popular or not. I am my own man. I don't represent one person or a group of people. I do what I think is right for the citizens. I play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jersey. I am a forward-thinking, lifelong resident, and I welcome with open arms new citizens and new ideas to our community. In my first year as commissioner, I have given testimony at grant hearings, securing over $1.1 million in funding. I will be going again for testimony in November. We have made improvements to our fairgrounds with new LED lighting. As a result of this, I was informed today that we will receive an energy efficient rebate of over $12,000. We have also made other capital improvements to the fairgrounds and made fuel system improvements to our airport. We're getting ready to start courthouse stabilization and roofing projects. I was at the spring fire almost daily, not only to support our neighbors to the north, but to gain knowledge in case an event like that happened in our county. I was honored in making the motion to finally give the veterans of our county a place to call home, and DHS into their new home.
Yeah.
Serving as commissioner, one has to serve on other boards and committees. I really like this because I get to network with other elected officials, department heads, and individuals serving their respective communities. I currently serve on the Southern Transportation Planning Region Board, the Colorado Counties Incorporated Committee, Legislative Committee, the Huerfano Los Animas County Board of Health, the 3rd Judicial Community Corrections Board, and the OPI Loan Approval Committee. It is difficult to stand before you and talk about what I do and what I have done. I'd like to talk about what we have done and what we can accomplish together, because it takes a team to accomplish goals. All of the goals that I have accomplished thus far in my capacity as county commissioner took a team effort. Every one of us elected officials must continue to work as a team for the betterment of our fellow citizens. As elected officials, we must have unity and work for the common good of our fellow citizens. The citizens are who we are here for. Yes, we are human, and we will fail at times. But some of our greatest successes have been the result of our failures. I have established a transparent, open-door policy with our fellow citizens, county employees, and elected officials. I will continue to nurture good relations with other local governments, as well as state and federal governments, because working together can only benefit our fellow citizens. As a lifelong resident of Los Animas County, I have been through the booms and the busts. I have truly been humbled, and I am thankful for the good and bad times in my life. About 30 seconds. I am thankful and proud of where I live and where I was raised. I believe we are all equal, with each of us having unique talents, abilities, and opportunities to work for the good of the whole community. In July of 2017, the Honorable Governor John Hickenlooper gave me the opportunity to use my talents and abilities when he chose me to fill the vacant District 1 County Commissioner seat. And as a commissioner in Los Animas County, I have diligently represented our community. Our community is like a will, and I am one spoke in that will, fulfilling my obligations to the best of my abilities. Our county is headed in a positive direction, and I ask your support and your vote so I may continue to play an integral role in moving our county forward. Thank you, and God bless you.
I don't want to shortchange you, but I already did it again. So, Mr. Rossetti, you're next.
Okay. I wasn't expecting this. I'm still thinking over there what I was going to say. Kind of threw me for a little loop. Again, like I said, I've been asked a bunch, why are you running for county commissioner? And I've been a long time, 30, 40 years ago, I was doing an odd job for a gentleman, a businessman in Trinidad. Mr. Macaluso just passed away a few months ago. And we were talking, and he says, you know, I always complained about everything in Trinidad. And he said, I'm going to make a difference. And he said, you know what? I got old and I never did it. He says, I'm telling you something. If you want to complain about something, then do something about it. He says, anybody can complain, but you better step up and do something about it. So, if elected as county commissioner, that's the top of my political, as far as I want to go, because I only care about one thing, and that's Los Animas County. I could care less what happens to the north, south, east, or west. I think we've got to take care of our own self and work for ourselves. And that's the only way something's going to get done around here is by us doing it. And if elected, I'll do my best at anything I can do. And again, if I don't get in, Mr. Hash, you get in, you need my help, you know I'm there for you. So I just ask for your support, and I'm 100% behind Los Animas County. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Felix.
I want to give a shout out to my son and daughter that couldn't be here tonight, Felix Jr. and Janelle. They're on the East Coast. Thank you, all of you, again, for being here tonight. As we look back and we look forward, this week the article that came out, there was a saying on the newspaper, on the Chronicle News, that actually said, 2 things are important to people: patience when you have nothing, and attitude when you have everything. I think here in the San Luis County, we have waited our turn, we've been patient, and now we have the resources, we have the know-how to really begin to move forward. When I came to Trinidad in 1980, it has always been, and I've seen it up and down. And if we continue to do more of the same, we're going to find ourselves in the same rut. We need to begin to leverage opportunities and forge partnerships, collaborating with if it takes other counties to entice industry that comes our way. Certainly we're going to do that. A few months ago, I had an opportunity to meet with the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, and one of the questions that I had for them: what happens when a company comes to Denver and they only want to establish a business for 25 people, and Denver is too big for them, do you refer them to other counties within the state? And then, of course, they said, we do, but we have to have representatives. One of the things that I propose to do is create a citizens group that keeps an eyes and ears throughout the community. And I think together we can build this strength and work together to create a better county. And again, leveraging the businesses that are already here to help us know what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, and how do we move forward. I have visited with families from the east of the county to the west of the county. Sunday afternoon was a very opening conversation. My wife and I were up Highway 12, and one of the citizens actually said, where is our voice? Once you guys get elected, how do we get you a voice? And when I proposed this citizens group, she said, would you keep me in mind? Of course, absolutely. We're going to be doing the people's business. So tonight, I want you to reflect on all the things that you've heard. And in the next few days, you're going to be getting your ballot initiatives. Consider that. I'm here to, in Los Animas County. I never left in a sense because I found the love of my life. We raised our children here. I have 2 grandkids in the audience, Destiny and Michael. I want to work for them. I don't want to become a politician. A politician is one that's beginning to look already at the second election. I want to be your statesman, one that goes and does the people's business. I think I'm a great communicator. I understand finances. I understand people, and I understand because I have been here with all of you. I'm writing what it could be possibly a book from the dish room to the presidency. And the reason I'm writing that because it's memories. I was the best dishwasher this college ever had. But I also think I was one of the best presidents I've ever had, I hope. So in a sense, it is the stories and the experiences that we collect throughout the journey that I'm bringing to this forum, what I'm bringing to you. I will be hearing from all of you, and I will be inviting several of you to join the citizens group to keep us abreast and to tell us the opportunities that we have or where not to go. We can't, and somebody said it here, we're human at the end of the day, but when we have communications, when we have ears and eyes all throughout, that's when we are that much better. Let me close by saying the following. When I enter into the land of the United States, I felt as if I was a kid in a candy store. I have learned so much, but I would invite all of you to read or travel abroad to see what we have here in Los Animas County. Just when we think that we don't have it that good, it is absolutely wonderful. My wife and I have served as missionaries in some of the most disadvantaged places in Mexico, because that's the country that I came from. And giving a pair of shoes to those kids is so amazing. So that's what we want to bring to this community, is let's work together to bring businesses and invite industry. But I think we have to be able to disagree agreeably. So I humbly ask for your vote and your support on this coming election. I'd like to be your county commissioner representative for District 1, but for the entire Los Animas County. And very, very important, here is for those of you that are listening on the radio, one of the questions that I'm getting is, can I vote if I live on District 1 or District 2 or if I live in the city? Yes, this is a county-wide election. Thank you so much. God bless Trinidad. God bless Los Animas County and the United States of America. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the conclusion of the evening, I would like to thank all the candidates for being here. I want to thank you for being here as well. I hope you have found this forum informative and to help you as we come to the 2018 elections. And for closing remarks, I'd like to bring Mrs. Linda Barrett to lead us viewers.
On behalf of the Trinidad-Lima County Chamber of Commerce, we want to special thank the THJC staff and the IT department for their help in setting up the stage for this event. Also thank to the radio station, KCRT, KBKZ, Phyllis family, Eli Bono, Bob Ferrer, and Jackie Phillips, thank you so much that you've been giving us all the time that you interview us, air on the show, give the media with no charge. We really appreciate that. And you all be here late at night away from your family. We also want to thank the Chronicle News, Cook Allen, and Rich, I don't remember his last name. Rich, your name is Rich. Thank you, and thank you, Eric, also. World Journal, you know, thank you for being here. Tom Murphy of PTTV, we thank Tom Murphy for being here. He's supposed to fly out early in the morning for somewhere, another state. Is that right, Tom? Thank you for being here, sweetie. Also thank Brad Gordon for timekeeper. He also a board member of the board. Jerry Jacobson had questions, but we didn't have any. He also our vice president of the chamber. Hey, come on. And I would like for our board of directors to stand up. Chamber board of director. Ambassador, the one with the red shirt, thank you so much for being here. Also, I want to, I don't know what else to say, but I want to let you know the Chamber Trinidad of Boston County Chamber of Commerce is 137 years, October the 31st. So that is our big Thank you, and congratulations to all the candidates. Thank you for being here. Thank you, audience, and thank you so much, and God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. One more thing I forgot. Please give Ed Diego a big hand. Thank you, Ed.